So, you got a tip of the day for the boys at all?
Yes, when you got an old engine, like this is not an old engine, but because it's been rebuilt, but say one that's 40 or 50 years old and never been touched and is still running good, and you happen to have to change the manifold gasket. When you take these studs out, I suggest that you buy new ones and put them in there, because if they break off taking the studs out, you got to take the rad out and the motor out to get in there to drill the broken studs.
Yeah.
As we went through that once
Yeah,
before.
we've got videos on that, guys. I'll try and maybe put the link here somewhere so you guys can see that.
Make sure that they know about it.
But, you know, spending an extra $1 getting the right studs to put back in brand new will save you a lot of grief.
I'm going to show them another thing here with this. Just hang on a minute, let me get organized. You have to take these old gaskets off of both the head and the manifold. And then if you don't have a air tool like this, then you could put this buffer on, a drill, eh?
Okay.
You can buy these little pads at putting your any parts store, eh?
Yeah.
It has to be really clean and smooth, otherwise the gasket won't seat properly.
So that's really smooth, like it's baby bottom smooth.
This little tool is called a burr. Probably got to give this is not a finished product.
Yeah.
This is just getting the rust and the carbon off.
So when Dad's working on this here, like this is baby bottom smooth, and like this here is quite rough. So all he's trying to do here is just clean it up so that it's nice and smooth, so you can put the new manifold gasket on there. And he said it won't hold if you don't clean it up.
See right here?
Yeah.
How right there is high?
Mm-hmm.
Just to get the rust and the scale off so you have a nice flat surface. It is ready. But
So
this is the next thing. This surface here also has to be done.
yeah.
The matching surface.
Okay. Is that going to be more difficult for you, or?
It's a little more difficult.
Okay.
This is the manifold gasket. The old ones were fiber, but this one is tin, eh?
Okay.
So it's reusable.
Okay.
What seals it is that dimple all the way around there.
Okay.
I'll probably put a new one in.
Again, Dad's cleaned this up to make it baby bottom smooth, and you can just feel with the tip of your finger how smooth it is versus how rough it is from before. So you notice that your manifold is leaking. Probably recommended that you take it off and make sure you're putting new bolts back in Otherwise, you can really destroy those bolts, and then you have to take the whole engine out.
This is what the gasket looks like when it was leaking.
Yeah. And you can see all the carbon build up here. So, guys, like, this might be a pain in the ass, but this is cheap compared to a brand new engine rebuild. And you don't want to get to the stage of an engine rebuild. And you certainly don't want engine problems if you're out in the lake somewhere or 100 miles from somewhere. Like, manifold gaskets are like, what, 50 bucks?
80 something.
80 bucks versus, you know, if you're not mechanically inclined, it can cost you $130 for an hour for mechanic assistance. That's if you're in the shop.
I'm going to show the boys one more thing that should be done.
Okay.
If you're gonna, like, these bolts aren't that old, but if you're going to reuse these bolts, let's say you had them in and 2 years later you take them out, they'll probably still be good. You got to put a compound on the end here to seal into the head.
Okay.
And this is the one that tightens against the gasket. But I'm going to show you what you should do before you put these bolts in. I'll go and get the special tool.
Okay.
These are called thread chasers. They're like a die, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So you get the right size. Whatever size you require. I think that's it there. 3/8.
Okay.
Just run them down to make sure that the threads are really clean. And the best is to do it by hand. Rather than with an air tool. So you don't run it to the bottom and ruin your thread chaser.
Okay. Now I noticed one side was coarse thread, the other one's fine thread.
Yep. The coarse thread goes into the head. The fine thread is on the outside, tightening the manifold. And these are lock nuts.
Okay.
So they don't shake loose. Okay, now this one is good.
And how many do you have
Just
to?
a minute. So you put your silicone or whatever you want to seal here, and you double nut this, and you screw it in so it's tight. Then you take the outside nut off, and you can take it off. And then when you go to put the nuts on this after you install the manifold, put anti-seize on the threads and run it in, and then you have a way better chance of taking it off in the future.
Okay. Now, how many hours or years should a guy be doing this? Like,
Well, if it's not leaking, you don't do anything. But if it's leaking, put it on the list to fix it
okay.
before you get gassed out. Some of my friends like rum, and some of the closer friends like gin.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready for the.
Okay, I'm just showing you here. I'm going to attach 2 nuts on.
Yeah.
And these are, the sealer is on the end of this one now.
Okay.
Now, just give me a minute here. I
Okay.
gotta go and get a couple of wrenches.
So this is the stuff Dad's using here. Ultra black gasket maker. It's a, well, you buy the tube in it, but it's meant for this sort of stuff.
Okay, now once you get these two nuts on, you tighten the top one. Now you're all set.
Okay.
Go to the head here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Should it be pretty easy to screw in?
yeah.
You don't have to rethread those holes, do you?
No. See, by having that second nut on there,
Okay.
can you see in here?
Okay.
By having that second nut, that's the driver to put the stud in. And the stud goes in tight.
Yeah.
Now, put it on the reverse. Take that nut off,
Okay.
and they come off. But that's how you have to install them.
I see. Okay.
Okay, answer that.
Yeah, I think Steve's getting it.
Yeah. So over all the fine ones, like those didn't come out.
Yeah.
So we still run a thread chaser over them.
Okay.
All these are sticking out, and the ones that did come out, we'll put them in the vise and put the thread chaser on, and the silicone.
Okay. So how many do you have to do here? 8?
Well, we've already done a couple. These two are done, so has to be rethreaded there, or run the thread chaser over those two,
Yeah.
and do the rest of it.
Okay. So you got another day's work here yet then before this rolls out?
I'll be finished early tomorrow.
Okay. What do you think, Charles? Are you having a good day, buddy? Harley come to the shop. Daisy's here. There's Steve. Just another great day in the shop, eh, buddy?